I feel like I need to address some of the propaganda we're seeing on TV from the Israeli military, specifically the supposed evidence that they obtained from the El Shifa hospital. I spent 22 years in the Marine Corps. I was an officer in the infantry. I became a operations officer in a special forces unit. I was a Middle East foreign area officer for some time, and I wrapped up my career as a JAG lawyer. And throughout that time, I served on many staffs, including the staff of General Mattis when he was the brigade commander. I know what a command and control center looks like. I've been in command and control centers. I've operated in a command and control center, and that is not a command and control center. It's not even a command and control node. So let's take it apart piece by piece. First of all, command and control centers don't necessarily have weapons. They might have personal weapons, pistols, rifles, but they don't stash weapons in a command and control center because it's not made to fight. It's made to command and control. What you do have in command and control centers are radios, computers, maps, boards, tables to move troops around. That's for an ordinary army. When you're working in an asymmetrical warfare environment like Hamas is working in, you would expect to have very limited control over the battle space because you have small units operating independently. But let's take the evidence that Israel is claiming is evidence of command and control, and that's the computer. I'm going to begin with the computer first. If Israel found a computer that belongs to Hamas, one of the first things I would expect them to do is to exploit it, meaning let's get it to our intelligence people so that they can find out exactly what's on it, because intelligence is perishable. The information that's useful might not be useful in a few hours. And so rather than put it on TV and then record it over and over again to try and justify to the world why Israel is committing a war crime, the first thing I would expect Israeli intelligence, there's nothing intelligent about it, to do is to get it to their intelligence people so they can exploit the information that's on it. Instead, they put it on and then they recorded it over and over again. And then when we really take a close look at it, we realize that it's actually an Israeli computer. It's got the wrong plug. It has a program that's open that's clearly for the Israeli army, and it's not a Hamas computer. So that's one. Two, the supposed weapons found next to an MRI machine. First, they put out a video that there was one AK-47 which has a magazine in it, and then they had two AK-47s without magazines. And it makes you wonder, if you're just recording as you go, why would you need to change what things look like? You can set all of that aside. It's so easy to find weapons on the battlefield after you've been in combat. People die, people may have abandoned things, and then you can stage them however you want. But even if Israel had found a computer belonging to Hamas and found some grenades and found some rifles in the hospital, it does not make it a legitimate target. It is specifically prohibited under the Geneva Convention to attack hospitals. The level of evidence required to justify an attack on a hospital is so high, that you have to be able to establish that it is no longer a hospital and it's used as a military operations center. It's not sufficient that it's a hospital and it's sometimes used by the military. You must establish that it is no longer functioning as a hospital, and there's nothing of the sorts. They attacked the hospital, they committed a war crime, and then to put the icing on the cake with the cherry on top, they planted a flag. And you have to stop and wonder about the mental state of an army that takes pride in attacking and then conquering a hospital. Wow. Talk about propaganda for consumption of the people that already support you. Free Palestine.